All right, everybody, how's it going? It is Tuesday, September 22nd, 2020, and we just finished with Week 2 in the NFL, so of course we're now on to Week 3 for our NFL Pick'em series. And yeah, we did all right last week. We went 12-4. That's very good, by the way. 12-4 is a great Pick'em record. We got the Patriots, we got the Colts game wrong, we got the Saints and Raiders, and we also got the Thursday night game wrong. Did very bad on prime times. We went 0-3 on primetime games this week. Not good. That seems to be where I make my most mistakes, is in primetime games and then a random Sunday at 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock. So hopefully this week we make the improvements on the primetime games. Hopefully we're better with those. Hopefully, we get all of them right, because that seems to be our major kryptonite. It was last year. It seems to be this year. So yeah, hopefully Week 3 we have a better pick'em. Week 2 we did very well. Week 1 we did all right. So we're 22-10 overall for pick'em. Which isn't bad for a no preseason season. So let's go right into Thursday Night Football, and I think we got this one right. At 8 o'clock, we don't need to say the times. The Jacksonville Jaguars hosted Miami Dolphins. 1-1 takes on 0-2. The Jaguars are 2.5-point favorites with an over-under of 47. I have the Jaguars winning this game. The Jaguars have looked a lot better than what people have thought they were going to look this season, with the way that they won against the Colts and then took the Titans to 33-30. They took it to the very limit of that game. And then the Miami Dolphins, they've looked a little better than I think people thought they would. They got doused by the Patriots, and then they played a very good game versus the Bills. Actually took them to pretty much 28-31. I know people go, that was garbage time. Yeah, but I mean, the Bills led late. The Dolphins took a lead in like the third quarter, so it's not like they are bad, but both these teams aren't good. This is like the shit battle for Miami. Like, it's a hilarious. This is the Miami Bowl or the Florida Bowl, and it's just two crappy teams. Hilariously bad game. I got the Jaguars winning it. I think Minshew's a good quarterback despite being on a bad football team, much like Derek Carr for a couple years there. So give me the Jags over the Dolphins, 30-24. Pretty confident in that one. So let's go ahead and jump to Sunday at 1 o'clock and see what we got going on. Of course, we have the Rams taking on the Bills. The Bills are 2-0. The Rams are 2-0. The Bills are 2.5-point favorites with an over-under of 47. The Rams seem to be back to their 2018 selves. The line's blocking better, which is good because they're a super system team. The Rams are, and the offensive line is how you can dictate how they go. If the O-line's playing good, Goff's going to play good, and we've seen that through 2 games. I have questions about the Bills' defense with the way they just performed against Miami. They didn't seem to be able to get much of a pass rush going. The secondary was a little suspect, and so I'm kind of looking at that game going, this could be a trap for Buffalo. I think they might come in a little cocky with the way that they played their first couple games, and the Rams are going to kind of be a stifling test for Josh Allen with the much stiffer secondary than what they've played this year. So that's why I'm going to go Rams over the Bills. I'm not even saying Allen anything bad. I'm starting to see why people think he's a good quarterback, but I'd like to see him do what he did against the Jets and Dolphins against a team like the Rams who have a good secondary. So I got the Rams 31-28, but again, I'm not confident in that pick as I should be. So we'll see. This one I'm very confident in. The New York Giants 0-2 host the 49ers 1-1. The 49ers are 4.5-point favorites with an over-under of 41. The reason that line is so close is because the 49ers' entire defense is hurt. But, I mean, not entire. They lost Thomas and they lost Bosa, and that's rough. But, I mean, they have, like, I believe, Quan Alexander and that kid they drafted. Everyone knows they drafted that kid really early. Very good lineman. As long as those guys play, I think the Giants or the 49ers will be all right. I think the Giants' injuries are also quite important. Losing Barkley is a very big problem for a team that, isn't the greatest. They're not a bad offense at all by any stretch of the means, the Giants, I don't think. But, when you make them one-dimensional, they're probably going to have to be against the 49ers because the 49ers are going to pay no respect to the running game without Barkley. And I just don't know if the Giants will have an answer to a defense that's going to be sitting on everything they throw and kind of ignoring and disrespecting the run. So I think it's going to be a tough game for the Giants, even with the injuries to the 49ers. I got them winning 28-19. This is a disrespect pick. I don't respect the Falcons at all. They host the Bears. The Bears are 2-0. The Falcons are 0-2, which they should be 1-1, but they blew another one, 29-10. The Falcons are 3.5-point favorites with an over-under of 47. Until the Falcons win, I don't pick them, and that's how my pick 'em goes. I've done that last year, and I did very well with that until they started winning, and then I started picking them. So, that's just how we do things here. Even though the Bears are hilarious with Mitch Trubisky, I don't trust the Falcons farther than I can throw them. Give me the Bears 34-28. I'm not giving you analysis on this. I'm generally right. The Falcons are a joke team. And then let's move on. We got the Cleveland Browns hosting the Washington. You thought I was kidding. Against the Washington football team. Both teams are 1-1. They've had pretty surprising years, I would say, for Washington. And then they look normal against the Cardinals. The Browns are 7-point favorites with an over-under of 44.5. I think the Browns should win this game quite handily. They have what might be the best running situation in the NFL with Chubb and Hunt. As long as those guys stay healthy, this team could win a lot of games. And I think the Browns might have figured that out against the Bengals and went, oh, wow, we can really run the football. Because it didn't seem like they realized that in like week 1 against the Ravens. I just don't know if they realized they could run like that. Or maybe the Ravens are better at rush. Who knows? So I don't know, man. I feel like the football team, though they beat the Eagles, who have a million injuries on the offensive line, and then they got kind of swamped out by the Cardinals. That's more what the team is. They're the team that got swamped out by the Cardinals. Very limited on offense, decent on defense, but again, extremely limited on offense. Browns should be able to handle that out with their defense, which isn't that bad, especially the defensive front for the Browns. So, I got the Browns all day, 28-14. Not much to say in that one. Let's go on to the next slate of 1 o'clock games. Minnesota Vikings host the Tennessee Titans. The Vikings are 0-2, and the Titans are 2-0. The Titans are 2.5-point favorites with an over-under of 47, right? So, the Vikings don't really have much of a running defense right now. With Michael Pierce, he opted out. Danielle Hunter's hurt. So, they got, Yannick. But, Ngakoue's all they got for a defensive front right now, it appears. Barr's hurt. The Vikings are very unfortunate right now to have to play the Colts with that offensive line and who can really run the ball, to then run into the Tennessee Titans who have Derrick Henry. The Colts are going to lose this game, and it's because of Derrick Henry. And then Ryan Tannehill, if they stack the box and start successfully stopping Henry, Tannehill can just throw it to Brown or to Davis. Or to just Brown. Tannehill can slice you up through the air because they have kind of an inexperienced secondary. So, I don't know, man. This Titans, if they lose, it's an upset. I got the Titans 31-17. This is kind of a similar game. It's not like I think that Houston might finish the season well, but it's going to be a rough 4 or 5 games for Houston. The Texans play the Steelers. The Steelers are 2-0, looking pretty sharp since Big Ben's return. The offense is slowly clicking into gear. The Texans are 0-2, trying to figure out a new offense, figure out a new defense. They kind of seem like they're in a state of limbo. I got the Steelers are 4-point favorites, over under 44.5. I got the Steelers winning by 4. Until the Texans get it together and they show everybody that they've got it together, it's going to be hard to pick them. Steelers defense looks like it's in midseason form. The offense is clicking along, coming together. Give me the Steelers 28-24. This should be a very good game, actually. Both the Raiders and the Patriots have defied their expectations to this point in the season, I would say. Even the Patriots, who most people thought would get destroyed by the Seahawks, played them. They almost won. They could have won that game had Cam gotten in the end zone, but it's a yard difference between win and loss. So the Raiders are 2-0 after a crazy win versus the Saints last night, and the Patriots are 1-1, almost winning against the Seahawks, but coming up short. It happens. The Patriots are 6-point favorites with an over-under of 47.5. The way I look at this game is I'm going to go with the better coaching situation, what I believe to be the better offensive situation. And but this is going to be probably a pretty good defenseless game because the Patriots defense is looking a little suspect, looking a little slow to get together this season. So I'd like to see the defense play better than it did against the Seahawks. But again, that might just be a symptom of playing Russell Wilson. I think the Seahawks are better than the Saints by quite a bit. So I look at the Patriots as a more impressive game than to do the Raiders. It's whatever. I know this game might be picked by other people differently. I think the Patriots are still a better team than the Raiders. I think they have better coaching, and that could be the difference in this game. Is going to be coaching. Give me the Pats over the Raiders. Upset of the week will be the Bengals over the Eagles, I believe. Both teams are 0-2. The Eagles are hosting, but again, I don't think they have fans. So the Eagles are 6.5-point favorites with an over-under of 46. So, this is an interesting game. The Eagles have really no offensive line. They're banged up all over both sides of the ball. They're not playing well. The guys that are in are not playing well whatsoever, especially Carson Wentz. Meanwhile, we have the Bengals, who are a hard luck 0-2 team. You know what I mean? They've been close to beating they came close against the Chargers. They came pretty close against the Browns. It's not like they've been down and out in these games. They've been pretty competitive, and I think at some point that pays dividends, and I think that pays off this week. They have an underrated defense, I believe, that can bang against the Eagles. Super banged up offense. This just feels like an upset, man, and I think Joey Burrow can do what other teams have been doing against the Eagles on offense. He can do at least as much as the Washington football team did, and I think that's the difference in this one. This is an upset, man. 28-24, give me the Bengals over the Eagles. All right, let's go on to the 4 p.m. games. Another really good game, kind of hard one to pick. This game, it's the Seahawks playing the Cowboys. 2-0 Seahawks face the 1-1 Cowboys. Seahawks are 5-point favorites with an over-under of 55.5. I think both teams have very good offenses. We've seen that this week against the Patriots for the Seahawks and the Cowboys against the Falcons with that crazy comeback. Both these teams kind of have suspect defenses. 30 points given up by the Seahawks. And, of course, the Cowboys gave up 39. So I kind of am like, all right, so how's this game going to pan out? Which defense do you trust more to make a stop? I trust the Seahawks coaching, and I trust the Seahawks defense more to make a big play late in the game than I do the Cowboys situation. So that's why I'm going Seahawks over the Cowboys. I always kind of, when a game feels like it's going to be a shootout, you always kind of have to go, well, if it does bust out and the defenses become irrelevant, which team do you think actually could still make a stop? And I think that team is still the Seattle Seahawks over the Cowboys, who have a weaker secondary. Russell Wilson's going to throw all day. You know what I mean? Like, that could be the difference in this game, and I think that is the difference. Seahawks over Cowboys. Here we go. Then we're on to the next 4 o'clock game. We have the Denver Broncos, who are super hurt. Like, the whole... they're banged up. Taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are pretty healthy. The Broncos are 0-2, and the Bucks are 1-1. The Bucks are 6-point favorites with an over-under of 43.5. This is a bad news game for the Broncos and the best-case scenario for the Bucks. I think Drew Lock's not playing. Cortland Sutton just tore his ACL. Von's out. The Broncos are very hurt, and it's unfortunate that in a game I would have normally picked the Broncos to win. I don't get to do that because they do play Tom Brady well at home. I think as this Bucs team is getting going, and Evans and Brady are slowly getting on that same page, it's going to be a problem, and we're going to see that happen more again this week. By the way, if you don't believe me, I've been dead on about the Tampa Bay Bucs this season, almost getting their point totals right week to week. So I've been accurate about the way Tom's been playing, and without Von, I think this is a pretty easy game for Brady to come in with that super offense and start kind of, starting to show some things. With the Broncos, I'd have picked them if they had their team. Like, I'd have genuinely picked Drew Lock and the Broncos to beat the Bucs, but I don't trust Jeff Driscoll. The injuries are too much to overcome, I believe. This would be one of the craziest upsets if the Broncos' backup team could beat the Bucs. It's nothing against the Broncos. You guys are just, unfortunately, too banged up, I think, to play against the Bucs team that might be slowly coming into themselves. You know what I mean? They're coming into themselves. And that's going to be a problem for the rest of this league. This game, there's not much to say, man. The Lions stink. I like the Lions, don't get me wrong, but Jesus Christ. They got smoked. The Arizona Cardinals are 2-0 and looking like a pretty good football team. The Lions are 0-2. Cardinals are 5.5-point favorites with an over-under of 54.5. I don't have a lot to say here. Lions' defense is awful, and they're going to get beat up. The Colts, another bad game. It's kind of two consecutive bad games. The Colts host the New York Jets. The Jets are 1-1, or the Colts are 1-1. The Jets are 0-2. The Colts are 10.5-point favorites. That's a huge line this early in the season with an over-under of 44. I got the Colts winning 21-7. They're going to run all over the New York Jets. I don't even know who the fuck is on the Jets, so I'm an emergency wide receiver for them, by the way. I'm going to be suiting up this Sunday. I'm kidding, but Jesus. All right. those kind of games I don't have much to say about. And then we have the Carolina Panthers taking on the Los Angeles Chargers in LA. The Panthers are 0-2 and the Chargers are 1-1. Chargers are 7.5-point favorites with an over-under of 44. Chargers, I think, win this game pretty handily, I'll be honest. I don't trust the Panthers don't really have a defense, and their offense is good, but I think the Chargers have a super underrated defense this year. Look at the way they played the first two games. 23 points to the Chiefs and only, I believe, 16 to the Bengals, who probably have a good offense. So, I mean, the Panthers just need to show me something on defense or offense. Like, they need to do something. They need to win for me to be able to pick them going forward. I just think there's so much rebuilding going on in Carolina against a team that is pretty well coached and has a good defense like the Chargers do. It's going to be a hard game. It's going to be really hard for them. And Herbert looked really good in his debut. Good for Herbert. Tough game to debut in. So those are my 4 o'clock picks. Let's go on to Sunday Night Football. This game seemed like it was going to be a lot harder to pick until I watched the Saints get destroyed by the Raiders. Green Bay might be the second best team in the NFC, and that pains me. That pains me to say that. Yeah, they're going to win, dude. And it sucks because I don't like the Packers at all. Like, I did not want to pick the Saints to lose this game. Like, I didn't want to do this. I'd go bet this game if I had money. The Saints are 3.5-point favorites with an over-under of 51.5. The Packers are going to just do bad things. If Derek Carr can have a field day against the New Orleans Saints, Aaron Rodgers is going to have a motherfucking banquet feast. You know what I mean? Like, a whole motherfucking meal is laid out there for the Packers and against the Saints team. Drew Brees looked old, man. Drew Brees' age is catching up to him, and that kind of stinks because he might be nearing the bitter end. Kind of like a a la Peyton Manning with the Broncos last year. Give me the Packers against the Saints, man. The Saints looked very bad in that game. They look suddenly not like the Saints, and the Packers look suddenly like the Packers of old. Packers all day. Damn it. All right, let's see. Yeah, I got the Ravens. Then Monday Night Football is going to be really good next week. The Baltimore Ravens host the Kansas City Chiefs. 2-0 takes on 2-0 in what could be an AFC Championship preview. The Ravens are 3-point favorites with an over-under of 53.5. I have the Ravens winning this game because I do not trust the Chiefs' rushing defense. If the Chargers had a better, more capable quarterback playing for them this Sunday, they would have beat the Chiefs. Like, the Chiefs' rushing defense was getting gashed up by Eckler, even though they should have keyed on that. It seemed like the Chargers were moving pretty well, and then the inexperience and the youngness of that Chargers offense caught up with them, and that's kind of what held them to 20 points. They could have scored more than they did against the Chiefs. And I don't think you're going to see the Ravens make those mistakes and give the Chiefs that kind of situation. The Ravens have looked absolutely dominant the first 2 games they played this year, whereas the Chiefs have kind of showed weird struggle on offense. Against the Chargers, it showed up. Against the Texans, they had weird struggle. I know they won handily, but it's the Texans. They don't got defense. Mahomes was overthrowing, hitting guys in the face. Their timing of the offense didn't look as crisp as usual. And I think the fact that they're playing the Ravens so darn early really is going to backfire on the Chiefs. I think this is a bad game for them to get early as they're slowly coming together on offense. We've seen that against the Chargers. They're slowly coming together. Ravens are mid-season 4. They're week 8. They're already ready. They're banging. They're not taking anybody lightly. And they fixed the rush defense. They already had a great passing defense. Their offense was elite. Dude, the Ravens fixed every problem they had last year, and it's very obvious they fixed up their holes. Whereas the Chiefs, man, they have a better defense than I thought, but it's not going to be able to do much with the Ravens. They struggled with the run and only held the Chargers, I believe, to 20 due to the fact that it was a young quarterback. They kind of took advantage of that. But hey, this is going to be I have a 7-point game. I got the Ravens 35, Chiefs 28. This could be an overtime affair. This could be a fucking shootout. Man, I don't care. As long as this is a good game, I'm happy. What a fucking matchup. So let's go over it by pick'em. Overall record is 22-10, as you know. 12-4 last week. So, we're pretty good. Those are the picks this week. Gonna try and wrap this up real quick now. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the picks as always. We're doing pretty good this year. I hope I do good again this week. I hope you enjoy the video. Leave a like. Consider subscribing if you're new around here. Both things help grow the YouTube stuff and all that. Yeah, let me know your picks down below. As always, I get back to you as soon as I can. We compare week to week to week. We'll see who does better. I'm doing pretty good this year. Hopefully I'm beating you. Hopefully I beat you last week. Hopefully I beat you again this week. But thank you so much for listening. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you again for listening, guys. I appreciated all the subs, the views, everything. It means a lot. Let's try to get to 75 likes. Have a good one. Go Patriots. Go Lions. Thanks for listening. Have a good day. Rob.